Welcome to Peacebuilding Initiatives, where we explore the transformative power of dialogue, cross-cultural understanding, and collective empathy in building more peaceful and connected communities. I'm your host, José Barzola. Thank you for joining us. In today's episode, we're speaking with Max Fuentes, a student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, studying microbiology and computer science. He's deeply interested in the intersection of science, technology, and problem solving, particularly in the context of biology, research, and developing solutions with real-world impact. He's a hands-on learner who values learning by doing, through lab work, technical experimentation, independent projects outside the classroom. Max is driven by curiosity and a desire to understand how systems work and how they can be improved. His interests center on applying computational and technological approaches to biological and health-related challenges, with the goal of contributing to innovation-driven research. Outside of academics, Max is actively involved in entrepreneurial projects, particularly in e-commerce, marketing, and brand development. He enjoys building initiatives from the ground up, learning through trial and error, and iterating to improve outcomes. Adaptable and curious, Max is committed to continuous growth, both academically and personally. Today, we'll be exploring a topic um, rooted in Max's lived experience around the consistency over motivation, escaping the overthinking trap. We live in a culture that glorifies motivation, that rewards overthinking. But what if both are overrated? In this episode, we explore why consistency matters more than fleeting bursts of motivation and how overthinking can feel productive while quietly holding us back from academic pressure to personal growth and everyday decision making. We unpack how disciplined action, not perfect clarity, is often what creates real progress. A conversation uh, is going to be about habits, doubt, and learning to move forward even when you don't feel ready. So, Max, thank you so much for being here, and we'll get started. To start us
Thank you
off,
for
I
having
hope
me.
you to get us started. Can you share a bit about your journey as a student balancing microbiology, computer science, and entrepreneurship, and how did you come
Yeah.
to that?
So ever since I was a kid, I was really into engineering. My brother, who's 10 years older than me, he was kind of like my mentor ever since I was a kid. And he got me really interested in engineering. He taught me how to code. He taught me like the basics of electronics so I could like start building my own stuff. And it wasn't until I moved to the US when I was 10 that I had more freedom to do that because I could just like order more parts and just buy them. And also like learning English also helped me learn a lot from online courses. So I was really interested in engineering. I was gonna go for an engineering degree. But early on my I want to say my freshman year of high school, I just started seeing like how similar like biology can be to engineering, as in like you built the code and then for biology you have the DNA. And I just started getting interested in that and I started like looking more into it. I started seeing how there were like people building like or companies building like medicine to treat like diseases. And I just started getting really interested in that. And that was my major. That's how I selected my major. But the I guess for the entrepreneurship one, that's just that's just because I started getting into like marketing a lot. But
Thank you. When did you first realize that motivation alone wasn't enough to sustain progress in your life or work?
during my high school years, I noticed that I was never, I mean, it's homework. I was never motivated to do it. So that really put me behind. And it was just like a wake up call to like realize that the work needs to get done either way. So like I don't know. Like a lot of people make it seem like they're always motivated to do something. But I was never feeling like that. So I realized that it's just overrated.
Thank you. And what do you think, shifting a little bit to consistency versus motivation, which is what we'll be talking about today, what do you think our culture places so much emphasis on motivation rather than consistency?
I just I just see like all this like big people, or I guess not anymore with like David Goggins talking about just like doing the work, getting the work done. But I was seeing like all this like I guess you can call them gurus, like just talking about like, oh, find something that you love, like just get it done. And it kind of brings up to like one of the other questions that we were talking um, about like finding passion and doing it, which I kind of like agree with it, but not really, because I don't think you can find a passion on something that you're not good at. I feel like you got to get good at it, and then you start getting passionate about it. It's like when you first start walking, like you fall a lot. But
It's
yeah,
interesting referring to that example of walking. I always think about um, having kids shifted my perspective into the concept. That's what I started thinking about. Like, and I feel like as I observe children learning to walk, many times going back to motivation, they're motivated by the aspect of everyone around me is walking by. That's how it is. And I can't do that. And so in a way that is the motivation to walk because that's just the way things are. Um, and as opposed to like I imagine if everyone just crawled everywhere, you're like,
they
what's
wouldn't.
this walking thing?
Yeah,
Why would I want to do that? Or you would develop different muscles and different ways to move around. Um, but yeah, and so going back to talking about motivation, uh, I mean, there's routine, right? There's what does society put upon us, I guess. So in your experience, what does consistency look like on days when motivation is completely absent for you?
I noticed that building a routine has really helped me because if not, I just go about my day with whatever like pops up. So I noticed that having a routine and like I don't know, just being pretty strict about it helps you a lot. Like if you start jotting down what you want to do the day before, what you want to get done, and like you start like just putting in your calendar, it really helps you, and it helps you get pretty far. I noticed that, or that's helped me, and it helps you be consistent even on the days that you don't feel like it.
No, I mean, and I think that is once more, it's from a psychological standpoint, I do see that as like, or just human nature aspect. Like, there's comfort in that. Having a routine of like, oh, or whatever it may be. For most people, it's like wake up, get ready for the day, have breakfast, and whether you go to school, whether you go to work, and then there's a routine of whether you're checking your emails, when you're going to classes, you have meetings, that kind of stuff. No, there is there's great comfort and serenity in that. So, might you share a specific moment where consistency led to progress, even when you felt uncertain or unprepared?
It had to be for like most of my classes across my college years, or
Um,
I'm still in like university, but it has
yeah,
helped me
yeah.
a lot. Because for my middle school and my high school, I always thought like I was way behind than like the other kids because like I was not the best getting good grades. But then I realized that they were like the only difference between them and I was that I was more distracted and they just were more focused on studying, and they dedicated like at least 1 hour every day after class to studying like a certain subject, which I didn't. I just thought that like just by showing up to class, I was automatically gonna like absorb everything. So like
Right.
just building like those little habits like that set you up.
Oh, thank you. We talked a little bit in the intro about overthinking, because overthinking often feels productive. Um, and I think in this field, or in the area of uh, peace building and or mediation and so forth, sometimes that reflected piece helps to uh, process. So it can feel productive, but how has it shown up in your academic or entrepreneurial life?
I believe that a lot of people, we all know if we want to get somewhere, that's our compass, right? And I believe that most of us know what have to do. And even if we don't know what we have to do, we know what we have to learn, but we just don't want to do it. We don't want to execute. And I feel like sometimes we keep telling ourselves that we're just going to, we keep thinking about it to feel productive or to feel good about ourselves. But in reality, nothing is getting done. So yeah, I think we should change that. Or for some people,
Yeah, no, thank you. Um, what helped you recognize when thinking and turned into avoidance rather than preparation?
I write down everything that I want to like get done. And if by the deadline, no progress has been made, then I use that as my reference. Because a lot of times, like, there's things that, like, even on personal projects, like with engineering, like marketing, there's things that I got to do, but I just keep telling myself that I'm just gonna do more research and I'm just gonna like look more into it. But at the end, you learn more by like just doing it. You learn the work works more on you than you work on it. You work, you learn more by doing than just by reading about it.
Thank you. You describe yourself as a hands-on learner. How has learning by doing helped you overcome doubt or fear of failure?
I guess it's something I can look back to. It just gives me proof of concept that I've done it before and I can do it again. I went from zero to knowing, being pretty good at something. So whenever I'm like learning something new or I'm interested in something, I just look back to that. It gives you like, I guess, confidence that you can do it, proof of concept.
And how do experimentation and iteration, both in the labs and in business, reinforce the value of consistency for you?
I mean, at the end, it's all about learning. Like you do the iterations, or what I call them is feedback loops. Before I'm about to do something, like even with the marketing, marketing taught me this. I have a hypothesis of what I'm gonna do, so I do everything like with purpose. And every time I'm gonna do, I'm gonna launch something. I write down what I'm expecting and why it's gonna happen, and then I just give it a couple of days, and then I get it back and I just read the data, and then I write down if why it worked, if it did, or why it didn't work, and then I try to do it again with the new changes. Because like a lot of times we don't even take the time to like try to understand like why we got the results that we did, and we keep trying to replicate them, but maybe that one time was luck, and you don't really know how to get there anymore.
Well, thank you. Now shifting to, you know, relationships and growth and human connection. How do you see consistency playing a role in building trust, whether in teams, communities, or relationships?
I mean, for relationships, I would say I'm not gonna trust someone that I barely know anything of. So like, and it also kind of like goes to show like the type of person that you are. I feel like, what do you think? Do you think it has to do a lot with it?
I think it comes down also to the reliability aspect of things. Like if you're going to, whether it's a romantic relationship or a good best friend, you want someone you can rely on. And if there's lack of consistency, I imagine it'd be a bit challenging to continue
Rely
on.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, in what ways can overthinking become a barrier, you think, to dialogue or meaningful connection between people?
I mean, I feel like I don't know. I just think it like it stops you from, or it stops a lot of us from like 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 always thinking about like what if this happens? Like I was thinking about the bad stuff that could happen, and it stops you from like actually shooting your shot. But once you start breaking it down, like what's the worst that can happen? Then you start realizing that it's really not that bad in most cases. But
No, thank you. Um, so, what advice would you give to students or young professionals who feel stuck waiting for motivation or clarity?
write down what you want to do and just break it down. What you need to do to get there. Maybe it might take you longer than some might take you other more time. And just like if you're gonna like get fit on 6 months, let's say you can track that by the amount of weight that you lift and the your body fat percentage. You can just like give yourself every 2 months a, a checkup to make sure you're on the right track. So just have like those checkpoints and have like a good understanding of what you want to do. I feel like that'll be it. Or that has worked for me.
You were able to, in 6 months, get fit? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Nice. Did was it because I know with people getting fit, sometimes it's a focus on like, am I losing weight or am I bulking up, which can be two separate things altogether.
Yeah. Now for me it was oh hello.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Oh,
here.
you could have shot. Yeah, for me it was gaining the weight, which is pretty hard. And
And it's not just
I didn't
eating whatever you
yeah, at
want,
the
I
end
imagine.
I didn't know how to do it because I've never done it. So I just asked my friend who was in the position that I wanted to be, and he just told me work out and eat. And that's what I did. He just taught me the basics. And he just taught me how to start like counting my calories and my macros, and consistency was it after that.
Nice. Were there any moments of like, because I imagine there's like a strict, when you're counting calories, one, you have to, just from my own experience, it's the fruits and vegetables, a lot of vegetables and grains. Uh, but sometimes that's not what's readily available. So, especially if you happen to be, uh, it's, you know, on the go, busy with school, that kind of stuff can be a bit challenging.
So you're cutting out. Um,
Your camera turned off.
mm, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, you cut out.
I can hear you.
Sorry, what was that? That last part you
Oh, I
had
was just gonna
last thing.
say, it can. So for folks listening, just thinking about when you're trying to build up, or it's there's a routine consistency that you were sharing. Many times though, in counting calories, it comes down to eating the grains, eating the vegetables. But sometimes when you're on the go, that's very challenging. So I'm just wondering if you had any tips, because it's easy to stop by a cafeteria, fast food, but there you go. That's your whole calories for the day and then some. So just wondering if you have any advice.
Set yourself up for it. It's like for me, I if I want to wake up at 6 a.m., I need to set up myself for that the day before. Because I can't be going to sleep at 12 and then waking
Mm,
up at 6. I know myself. I
yeah.
can't. So I also my when I was like through this process of the gym and everything, I used to have a lot of two internships. So I was on the go a lot. So what I did is I just had my boxes with food with me, and I used
Mm.
to just eat them. So just set yourself up for it.
So prepare
Everyone
for the
has a
whole day,
different,
truly.
yeah. Everyone has a different, but
Yeah.
people have done it. You can do it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And what I'm hearing is also just you're basically planning out every like minute, second of the day.
Not every
So
minute, second, but I
yeah,
like the most important stuff that,
yeah.
or the
But
things that I'm trying to get done. I get them
yeah,
done first.
you're not just like, I'm gonna just buy lunch from this place and hope that they have what I need, basically, because that's a
Yeah,
wild card and it might throw everything off altogether. Okay. Um, just for folks listening who may feel trapped in overthinking right now, what's one small, consistent action you'd encourage them to take today? I know you talked about writing it down. Uh, Anything else?
just jump in.
Just
Don't
jump
wait
in.
until tomorrow. Just do it right now.
Okay. And how has embracing consistency changed the way you define success for yourself?
Because if at the end, I guess like for everyone, is like success is different. But like my most recent was like me gaining the weight. Right, I went from 140 pounds to 165.
Wow, it's a good amount.
Um, I'm sorry, what was the question?
No,
I
I'm just
lost
saying
my train of thought.
that's a good significant amount. I was just saying, but the question was, how has embracing consistency changed the way you define success for yourself? And I think you kind of answered it
Yeah,
by earlier with, just get started, write it down. What are the big things I'm hearing is also kind of like stop making excuses,
yeah,
but also just prioritizing, that kind of can give you a good insight into like, well, if this is not a priority, should I even have it as one of the things that I have to get done?
yeah. I mean,
And it,
if it doesn't help you get closer to the person who you want to be, then
yeah,
maybe it's not up there.
yeah. So looking ahead, how do you hope to continue applying this mindset in your research, entrepreneurial work, personal life?
More in like entrepreneurship with the
Okay.
marketing.
Yeah.
Uh, Everything is just about consistency and like you gotta be fast at it. So the way I go about my day, I've also been like lacking recently, but I try to get like the most important stuff done at the beginning of the day. So like I just have the rest to like I don't know. Because if I don't get like the things on my list done, and then it doesn't feel like fulfilling. So I try to go about like first things first, and I get them done at the beginning of the day. So then I can just go on with my day. But consistency has helped me a lot with marketing because it was more than I thought it was. So like learning at the beginning, if I would have stopped, then you just like you start losing momentum. You gotta like build it up.
What do you think has helped you like to, I mean, I feel like we're shaped a lot by our early on by those around us. So I'm asking like, is it family? Is it friends? Is it like some books you read? Like what's gotten you into this? What's, shaped you in the mindset that you do, what you do?
I don't know. I guess it also has to do with books, but also that I've been moving a lot. So I've been
Oh,
like meeting like multiple people or like a lot of people. And I just started like connecting the dots of like the people that were getting or that were successful. I just started connecting like what all of them had in common. They just didn't care. They just got the stuff done. So I was like, okay, I need to do that because I'm not trying to stay behind. So
you
yeah, that's
bring
where
up
it came from.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny because you mentioned the moving, which moving can sometimes not be considered routine. it can be kind of a bit chaotic for some people. It's a curveball. It's not consistency. It's not comfort. Whether they get bogged down when now into the overthinking of like, I gotta pack everything, then I gotta find a place, unpack. Um, but uh, but it sounds like you made moving part of almost like your routine in a way.
Yeah. It
And
feels like almost every 3 years I go to a new place that I had never been on before.
I
And
will
I kind of
say that
feels weird not doing it now.
uh, I well, it's funny how the uncomfortness or inconsistency of a lot of because maybe some people move around or maybe they move because of the work, but there are still a good amount of people who like grew up in one place and maybe they don't, at least for the first like 18 years of their life, they're in this town or this one state area, until they have to go to college or they have to get a job. So the fact that you reference having to, but there are also, I think, lots of skills to develop as you move around. I mean, just from my own experience, sometimes and I think I mentioned this earlier, about code switching and how you have to shift from like, oh, the general observation of how are things done here, and this is how things are done here. Okay, and then or how do people dress, or how do people act around here? It's a very quiet neighborhood, or it's very loud at night. So it's kind of adapting to the spaces that you're in. And I
Just
imagine
like,
after a while, you kind of have a good sense of like what you're looking for when you're moving
yeah,
to a place.
just being flexible is
Yeah.
the key for it.
Is
But
there
yeah,
something that you look for when you're moving to a place?
I
Some
get what
cons
I learned from my
Yeah.
past one, and I
Yeah.
just try to, because it allows you to like, in a way, kind of like become a new person. So you get like nobody knows you in the new place.
Mm.
Nobody like, so
You
you
start
get
with a
to choose
clean
like,
slate.
yeah, you get to choose who, like what you're gonna change about yourself and who you want to be. And then
Mm.
feedback loops, I get.
Yeah, yeah. I I was reflecting upon from my own experience of thinking about the places that I've lived at. One thing that I think stays true always, and I didn't realize this initially, but after a while, I started thinking like, oh, what do all these places have in common? Yeah, obviously there's lots of different people, different cultures, that kind of stuff. But one thing that kind of like really stood out to me was like it was always near nature. I was never living in like right in the middle of a city.
Hmm.
And whether I could like survive or not, I don't know. I probably can. I would just adapt. But I think there is something to be said about just being able to like walk, you know, you can walk or drive not too far to get to like a park where there's trees and grass, as opposed to just, you know, uh, buildings and you just maybe see like one tree in between the concrete or a little bit of grass in between the concrete. So
Do
that's
you feel
one
the
thing.
difference?
Um, I feel as though what do you mean the difference? Like as far as like energy wise or like
Yeah, like, or
uh
it sounds too like ooh, but
yeah,
I've
yeah,
noticed
no.
that like now if I'm like far from the beach, I start feeling like off. Like I start just like I don't know how to explain it. It just feels weird now.
Yeah, there is something about being close to nature. It doesn't have to be like, take my shoes off or slippers and like feel it with my feet, that kind of stuff, but just being able to breathe the air that nature provides as opposed to like, oh, there's the the smoke from whatever, whether it's the vehicle that passed by or the furnace from such building that's blowing off. But yeah, no, there is a bit of whether it's serenity, some calmness to it. Yeah, I do find some comfort in that, and I will say, I mean, honestly, one of the things that I took. I remember one of the big things that I was very impressed when I first made it to Hawaii. It was like I was like, oh, there's mountains with like so much green stuff on them. Because like coming from the East Coast, I mean, during the summers maybe you get a little bit, but uh not during the rest of the year when it's like snowing and cold as it is at this time of the year. But yeah, it was just kind of like impressive to see the just nature, how it had overgrown and how large the trees were. And I don't know. But yeah, and even though it's being close to the beach, there's the waves or just the breeze.
It's just
So
different.
yeah, yeah. And it
Yeah.
does make you appreciate being close to a body of water, one that you don't have to drive like an hour plus to get to, or honestly, probably it's like 15, 20 minutes away. It's not too bad. But yeah, it is so that's why I ask if you of the places you've lived at, if there's certain consistencies that you may have, and maybe you haven't, maybe that's part of the overthinking that we were talking about. Uh, but I think it helps as far as a method to kind of get our to know ourselves a little better.
Yeah.
Because as we think about like, there's this uncomfortness of like moving. Um, but I think if you have a general sense of like what are you looking for, then you can maybe find not maybe I don't know if home is to say too much, but some comfort or some routine in moving. If you're like, oh, I'm looking for a place that's close to the body of water, close to parks and nature, and I want to be able to breathe, you know, uh, and not be worried about like uh, the smog and pollution, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it's so there's different things we can build up, I think. So I guess consistency within the what might seem as an inconsistent experience.
For like moving.
Um, yeah, yeah, like moving or anything that folks might find as like a shift. Because one of the big things we talk about here is sometimes about conflict, and how conflict can be. There are very few people that are like actively searching for conflict. I think most people like the serenity or the routine of just being in a space where there is no conflict, where they can be rest assured that they have that routine, the calmness of their lives. Um, well, there's folks who would see conflict as like, oh, it's an opportunity for growth, um, and not that they're searching for it, but I think just being able to kind of shift your perspective into that. So I wonder what has been your experience with conflict.
I mean, I've had a lot recently. More with like marketing. Uh, I was getting like the 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 money that I was generating from that was going to my personal account. And I think like I don't know, like I've never done taxes before.
Mm.
So I didn't like open up like no LLC, no nothing. And now I think it's since it went to like all my personal accounts, I think like I need to go see an accountant because I think it's gonna like be um looked at as like everything profit.
Uh,
And it's not like that. And then also like Hawaii is asking me for the this thing called the GET, which is Hawaiian taxes.
oh, the general access code, the G code. Yes, especially if you're like your own, like self-contracted. That's what you're.
Yeah, and now they're asking me for that. And I've never done taxes before.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
fascinating because like not every state does that, and unless like someone hiring you lets you know that you need to get that, register to get your general access code, then you normally wouldn't have that. Um,
so yeah. I guess it's the way you approach it and the way you look at it. At the end it's
yeah,
just pretending to grow. If you've already been through those waters, then you already know.
yeah, but it is a lot of paperwork, I gotta say, taxes. And even that at the end of the year when it comes to Hawaii taxes and G codes and all that kind of stuff. So, but no, it's good to just a friendly reminder to folks listening
Pay
thoroughly
your
do some
taxes.
research. Yeah, pay your taxes. It's very essential. Um, no, thank you, thank you. Looking ahead, how do you hope to continue applying this mindset? I actually did. Um, what does actually moving forward before you feel ready mean to you now?
I'm sorry you cut out. What was the
Oh yeah,
last part?
I said, what is moving forward? What is quote unquote moving forward before you feel ready mean to you now?
To
With
just if
with
I think I'm gonna do something, to just do it.
yeah,
Just do it. Sometimes I do tend to like take just decisions like that based on based on that, like moving out. Like
yeah,
I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna switch states. And it just takes me like
yeah.
2 days to like make up my mind.
You must. I was just thinking about like people accumulate stuff even with 3 years. So you must be really good about like just whatever can fit into your suitcase kind of thing and not
Yeah.
collecting.
Yeah.
I guess like furniture or I don't know, whatever people collect nowadays. Um,
Yeah, no, I just pack light. Just one backpack, maybe a carry-on. That's it.
oh
I
wow.
figure the rest out once I get to the place.
Okay. I feel like there's a lesson to be learned or there's a book in the making there regarding like how to travel lately and because we do accumulate a lot of things and we have especially we grow sentimental uh connections to items and so just being able to not do that can be powerful in itself. um no, well, Max, thank you so much for sharing your perspective and experiences with us today. Just first, just want to ask if you have any final words that you want to share with listeners today. Any
If
words
you
of
want to do
wisdom?
something, just do it. Just
Okay,
don't even like just do it. Like you
okay.
already know what you have to do. You've been thinking about it for like months
I
now.
mean, there must be some
Just do
planning, I
it.
imagine. You
I
don't
know,
just
but
show
like
up to a city
th-
and they're like, "Oh wait, where am I sleeping
uh,
tonight?"
that project that you want to start, just start it.
Okay, okay.
Nothing bad's gonna happen. Come on. Like
Well,
yeah, we all fall. We're gonna get up.
yeah.
But that would be the only thing. Just stop overthinking. Do it. Write everything that you have to get done. Do it.
Well, thank you. I look forward to staying in contact and just I want to see where you are like 10, 20 years from now. Like uh or what some of the amazing places you probably have traveled to and yeah, and the stories you've connected to and collected over the years. So but yeah, thank you so much for sharing your perspective and experiences with us today. This conversation reminds us that progress doesn't always come from feeling ready, inspired, or certain. It just comes from showing up consistently, even when things feel unclear, uncomfortable. Definitely in a world that encourages us to overthink, optimize, and wait for the perfect moment. Today's discussion offers a powerful counterpoint. I think it also, as folks from time to time may feel like stuck, whether it's in their academics, whether it's in their job, uh, like change that major or uh, find a new job, find one that brings you joy. That's kind of what I'm hearing a lot of doing things. I know we talked about passion earlier, but maybe instead of passion, we think about doing what brings you joy. And I
Yeah.
sometimes find that that tends to be almost like a little window into people's soul. I always love asking people like, what brings you joy? Um, Actually, I haven't asked you. What brings you joy, Max?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I guess personal development.
Yeah, and that's you're
Knowing
doing. Yeah,
knowing that
just
I'm just still rolling and
yeah, yeah. No,
not
thank you.
not
Um,
static.
but yeah, and I like the fact that it doesn't have to be everything planned out. So imperfect actions can be a form of peace building in itself. It builds trust within ourselves, strengthens our relationship with others, and creates space for learning, empathy, and growth. One thing also I thought about was like as you're moving to different places, you're building these relationships, and then people are being left behind. But I imagine there's some really good stories and some really good folks that you've met that I imagine you're
Yeah.
still in contact with. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of the journey, the people along, even though they're not physically there. I mean, this day and age with like, you can do a virtual Zoom, or you can pick up a phone, or you can text and message, and there's so many ways to stay connected. The world becomes a little bit smaller. So thank you so much to our listeners. If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, remember that you don't need total clarity to move forward. One small, consistent step can open the door to meaningful change. Thank you for joining us on Peaceful Initiatives. Until next time, let's continue building peace within ourselves and across our communities, one intentional action at a time. Thank you.